How would you like to make your first million? And today we have a serial entrepreneur, a traveler like me, someone that living over 5 countries and running the businesses from far from home. So Bethany, and at the moment, her new business is about fractional CMO. So Bethany, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend all entrepreneurs there to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
All right. Well, the 5 steps to make the first million. Okay. So the first step that I would suggest is to really, really understand money. One of the very first things that I did when I started to run my own companies was learn to understand a balance sheet, a P&L sheet, and really understand cash flow. Especially when you're starting off, it's so easy to overlook cash flow, but really cash is the air that your business needs to be able to breathe to survive. Without
Absolutely.
it, you're not going to go
Espe-
very far.
Especially in the 0 to 1 is key.
Yeah,
If you don't
yeah.
have cash flow, you die.
You don't have cash flow, you die. And so I would suggest what really helped me is to understand how your money works, where it's going, where it's coming from, and really understand your profit centers and also really understand your cost centers so that you know how to reduce the cost if you need to, which is always a good thing to do. Step one, understand your cash flow. I would say the second one, understand very well how to delegate and delegate much earlier than you think you need to. I have been an entrepreneur in a position where I didn't really have much of a team, didn't really have anybody to delegate to, and I couldn't get that much done because I had to spend a lot of my day doing work that needed to be done, but could have been done by somebody else. So I'd have to say, really vital thing is have a team, hire a virtual assistant, and I've hired one for myself, and it's wonderful. I get so much more of the important work done than I could
Absolutely.
do on a
Tell me
daily
about it.
basis.
We have
Yeah,
several.
it's
They're
key.
brilliant.
Yeah. And then I would say for the third thing, most entrepreneurs really understand their product or their service, but not really many first-time entrepreneurs, especially, understand how to run a business. It doesn't matter how passionate you are about your product or service if you don't have a company that is able to do the basic things that a company does because you don't know how to do it and you're limiting yourself by not bringing in people around you or learning how to do it yourself. So I would say learn not just about your product or service, but learn actually how to run a company and grow a company from outside sources. So that's my third one.
Very good.
My fourth one, you will have failures and you will have setbacks. It's bound to happen. It's really tempting to go to your usual support network, your family, your friends, for advice on what to do. Unless those people have successfully run a business, don't do that. Surround yourself with people who have been successful at running a company so that when you have hard times and bad times, you can go to them and they've been there and they can offer you useful advice on how to turn the situation around to your
Absolutely.
benefit. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then fifth, if you don't thoroughly understand how to do sales and marketing, find someone who does and let that person help you. Even delegate heavily to that person. Let them make decisions on your behalf in sales and marketing if you don't know what you're doing, because money is the air that your company needs to breathe. And sales and marketing are going to be what gets you your money. If you know your product and your service, but you're not that too knowledgeable about sales and marketing, outsource that to somebody else who can. Find a partner who can do this for you. Find someone who knows what they're doing and get help. So go ahead. Yeah, those are my five.
I love them. I love them. Very good. First time founders, they are so in love with the product. They love the product so much. They are very product focused that sometimes they don't take sales and marketing seriously. So, which message do you have, Bethany, for all those founders out there that they are very product centric? They think that the product is gonna change the world, that the product is so good that people will come and buy out of the blue, and they don't take sales and marketing seriously. They don't want to pay for this service accordingly. They just say, "Well, I just give you a little commission, and I cannot guarantee anything." And then after they take all the money from the friends, family, they remortgage the house, and they improve this product so beautiful, and still they cannot sell it, and now they don't have resources, and they want to come to you to help them. So, what message do you have, Bethany, for a reality check for how real life works in business, and for our listeners that we here to tell the truth, we're here to tell the reality of how it is. We want everybody to succeed. So,
Mhm.
is it really true that if my product is so good, people will buy it out of the blue, so I don't need marketing and sales? Or I just pay very
Oh,
little, but tell us, what do you think?
if only it were that easy that your product was so good that it'll sell itself. It
Oh, it was so
never
easy.
does.
Yeah.
It never does. Yeah.
Absolutely. No. I'm still waiting. Like I said, here in we interview with 500 million in this same podcast, and still we're waiting for someone to come and say, "Oh, Harry, you won't believe this, but the product exactly as I designed it, it works, and I saw a lot of them." It doesn't work like this. You are
No.
in land. It really doesn't work like this.
Yes.
I'll tell you the story. My first business was in property. We managed to sell over 5 million, and I was renting rooms. And I think, okay, it's a good idea. I'm gonna rent rooms, and I'm gonna make money with this. And then I got my first property, and I opened the door and showed the room and said to a person, "Look, this is the room. Do you wanna rent it?" And it was a boy, and the boy looked at the room and said, "Look, you need a little bit of painting, yeah." No, I'm not gonna take it. I'm like, oh my god. So I went to the painting store. Yeah, I don't know. I never paint
Mhm.
any wall in my life. Yeah, I'm paying with the guy at the counter. I said, listen, I need to paint the room, so I need this. I swear to you, I never paint in my life. And the guy told me, yes, I know, because the thing that you're asking, I can tell that you never done this job in your life. I said, who
Yeah.
doesn't matter? Who cares? Give me a thing. So I painted the room. Then I have my second viewing, and he comes again. I said, look, what do you think about the room? The room said, wow. The guy said, look, it looks clean, but it's so cold like this. It need a little bit more warm. I don't know, more color. So as soon as they get leave, I put a vase of flower. I pay £1 for it, and I went to IKEA and I bought the. I don't know if you've been seeing in IKEA these duvets that the
Mhm.
duvet cover are red, orange, and pink. So say,
Sure.
well, you want it warm, so more warm than red, pink, and orange are impossible. So then I bought a painting. Guess what happened? I opened the door to a third girl, and she opened and said, "Look, what do you think about the room?" And the girl said, "I'll take it."
Huh.
So the point of the story is that during that process, I had to be. It's not about the product that I designed it. I started to market this product, and the customers they were telling me what they really want to buy,
Hmm.
and how much they
Hmm.
want to pay. So, which improved my theory, our theory we're discussing today, that if you think that the product that you design how you initially is gonna sell, actually, this podcast going from 0 to 1 million, if you don't have sales and marketing, you won't be able to reach the mark unless or you find someone who does. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's tech. I don't care if it's tech. I don't care if it's any business, because in that 0 to 1, it's key to get the product market fit. So, in your view, Bethany, what constructive, or what? Because I get it. Sometimes we
Hmm.
become an entrepreneur. We need to do things that we don't like, and probably sales and marketing. Talking to strangers is something that human beings were not conditioned to do. So,
Yeah.
what advice do you have for those founders that they don't take it seriously, but the truth is they don't want to talk to people. They don't like to talk to people. They don't like to design this strategy. Marketing and sales is about
Hmm.
strategy, and they are, for example, software developers, and they want just to develop software. They don't want to get involved with that. So what message do you have for our founders that they are stuck there and still they understand the value of marketing?
Let's say you're a software developer or a house painter, whatever. Thinking about your story about the walls. And no matter what it is that you do, if you don't understand sales and marketing, you have two choices. You can either learn and spend a considerable amount of your time doing sales and marketing. If you don't like it, it's just going to take a tremendous amount of energy from you, and you might end up being burnt out of your own business, which really can easily happen.
It's very
Or
common, actually. It's very common.
very common, because if you're a solopreneur,
I see a lot every day, actually.
oh yeah, if you're a solopreneur, that can be exhausting if you don't get the kind of support that is out there. So if you're a solopreneur getting going, you haven't made your first million yet, with any profits you have, with any amount of money you have, find someone who does these things who can help you, because it will be worth the money. The problem I see with a lot of people who are just starting out is they see marketing as a cost center, as an expense.
I
And
agree
that's
with
not
you
it.
100%.
Yeah.
That's
And
how they see it. And
that's how they see it.
I don't know who told them this. Where did they learn this? Definitely was not from us in this podcast. So from when do
Yeah.
you think that they're learning this?
Hell if I know. I don't know.
I'll tell you an example, a clear example. Yeah, in COVID, guess what happened? COVID started, and all decided that was a good idea to cut the budget in marketing. That was the first thing that everybody did. And I'm like,
yeah.
guys, you are crazy. Number one, you know how the thing works is by bidding. So if the rest of your competitors are not bidding, you have even cheapest cost acquisition, and this is an investment. You invest and you get a client that pay you money for your product. So how you gonna cut that investment? You need to cut costs, but they are thinking that the marketing is a cost, and then they
Yes.
cut it because it's a cost. So, Bethany, where do you think that there are people are learning this? Because I still don't get it. It doesn't make sense. I don't know where book they're reading this, because since when marketing is a cost? Well, the principle is very simple, right? You acquire a client, you have a product that you sell it for $2 or for five, and then if you invest $2 and it costs you to produce, you invest in marketing $2 and it costs you to produce $1, well, you have $2 profit, give it or take. I'm making a very simple example. So how many times can you do that? Forever.
Yeah.
So then what happened? What happened? What's wrong with people? They don't listen to this podcast. I think that's a problem.
No, I understand a little bit, because especially in the beginning, all you see is money going out. You have to pay for the marketers, you have to pay for the labor, you have to pay for ad spend if you're going to do ad spend, you have to pay to create content. And in the beginning, it is an upfront cost. But it does
You
come
have to
back in
invest.
terms of
You don't have to
you have to
pay. You have
invest.
to
You have to
invest.
invest. It is an upfront cost, but it will come back. And a lot of people, I imagine, are seeing the money go out of their bank account, out of their hand, and saying, I don't entirely understand what's going to happen. I hope that this turns into sales. If you don't really understand marketing, especially digital marketing, and you're getting into digital marketing, I can understand the hesitation of, this money is going out. Am I going to see it again? And then, especially if it's something like money for search engine optimization, that can take months before you see a return. And it's vitally important that you have a really robust website, and all of the whistles of the finest work for SEO, but you're not going to see a return immediately. And I can understand how a lot of people can get quite nervous about those going out at that point.
Let me give you my theory. This is my theory. I think this is what people are doing. They go to social media and they find someone to do the marketing for them that have a Lamborghini, that have a shiny house, that have a Rolls Royce, and they don't know what they're talking about. So they go and they buy a program there, they buy a package there, and they get very little value. They invest all this money, and then they get a little value. It doesn't work for them, and now they make an assumption, marketing is an expense. I never do that again. So
Yeah.
we need to start from to share this message for the entrepreneur that you need to find, like for example, I find very interesting what I do actually, fractional CMO. This is a concept that I love, and I wish that when I started my first business that this was even available because honestly I didn't even know that exists. I'm telling you 17 years
Yeah.
ago. 17. I
Yeah.
don't think that 17 years ago this so sophisticated and amazing like this that's what it said existed 17 years ago. I wish, yeah. But anyway,
Mhm.
the about bringing people with the expertise because it for someone most of the entrepreneurs how we started by me, we have a problem, we solve it for ourselves, and then we start to solve this problem for other people. So that doesn't mean that we are entrepreneurs, we're just selling
Mhm.
something and make a little bit of money, but and you start to sell it to offer to your friends, family, whatever. But the
Mhm.
problem is when you run out of friend and family. This is my first event. This is true story. Look, I have my speakers are gonna do my first event. So I'm doing my event. I don't know if I charge $67 or $97. Today my workshop is $5,000, but back then it was $97. Telling you about 7 years ago. And then first workshop, I'm calling all my friends, family, whatever. Everybody come. You buy the ticket, come. Oh my God, the room is packed. Then I'm gonna do the second workshop. And my girlfriend lady said, "Okay, come on, let's fill the room." I said, "Look, I run out of friends."
Yes. At that point, you have to go talk to strangers.
Then is when I met my Mark. Then I started to one of the. So eventually you will run out of friend of marketing, and when this happened, then you have to shock to a reality check that marketing and sales it has to be in place and it has to be effectively, and then you have to learn all these things. There's a huge knowledge because in order to find a strategy that works depends on the type of the product, depend on the market, depend on so many things.
Mhm.
And I don't think that if you don't know about this, having a mentor, have experience will be priceless because
Yeah.
and someone that have been an entrepreneur before, we were talking about first time founders, they are focusing the pro, second time founders, they are focusing marketing because they already know
Yes.
how it actually works. But in that communication, as second time founder, you can understand the first time founder because I was there. I was
Yeah.
there as a first time founder. I was so naive, I didn't even know what marketing was. I used to publish my room in a website that cost Gumtree and my clients was getting from there. And after a month, I find out that was one thing that cost marketing, and I find out that it was my marketing strategy to lead the client. Imagine how lost I was in the whole thing. And I think that the people listening to us, starting out the business, they can be as lost as I was because most
Yeah.
of us we by accident, we don't know. We sell a product, make a little bit money, and oh, we are in business. We are in business. We have to learn a lot. So. Um, in your point of view, what can we share effectively, or what kind of examples or of your life experience, so we can articulate better in this interview? The number one, marketing is an investment; it's never a cost,
Mhm.
and probably will be easy, Bethany, if you can share with us what are the 5 steps that entrepreneurs, startup founders, should be doing in order to hire the right fractional CMO for the business.
Mhm.
Was
In
tell
order,
us, don't
yeah.
whatever the steps you want. It doesn't matter 5, 3, whatever. So
Okay.
what the entrepreneur should be doing, because I understand that when you are very early stage, if you hire the wrong person, it costs a lot of money, and if that doesn't work, already your business is got. I mean, it's very difficult to come back from that one. So
Yeah.
what can you share for our audience?
So when you go to hire a fractional
Should they
CMO,
go to Google and look for someone with a Ferrari? Look how many millions I do advertising, blah blah. Can do it for you.
not necessarily, because that itself is its own marketing, and they may have been really successful in one type of business, but that doesn't necessarily translate to another. So if
Absolutely.
if you're looking to hire a fractional CMO, a few things I'd look for. One, start off, how well do you get along with this person? You have to
Mm-hmm.
like them because this person is going to have a very large impact on your business. You know, they're going to be able to make decisions. A fractional CMO can do hiring and firing within the marketing department. And so they're going to have control over some company finances. They're going to have control over some personnel. So you have to be able to realize that you can work well with this person and in order to be that successful. So I would say know that you like them. I would say do your background, check your references. Any fractional executive is going to have at least a few references. Check them. Did this person do a good job for clients or in their past job? A lot of fractional executives are coming from being full-time in a company to working fractionally, and that's great. You don't have to have been a fractional executive for a long
Mm-hmm.
time,
Mm-hmm.
but check your references, I should say. You know, did they do what they say they have done, and can other people confirm that that's accurate? So check your references, and then be damn clear what the person is going to do and what you as the entrepreneur want to do and how you want to interact with them and what you expect them to do. And then I would also say be ready to a tremendous amount to the fractional CMO, um, because if you've been doing marketing, maybe it's not your forte, but as the entrepreneur, you had to do some marketing. Be ready to set off. And then I would say, lastly, fifthly, be ready for a considerable amount of change in the company because the reason that you're bringing in your fractional CMO is to see your company grow. And if this individual is successful, the company will grow. And so your systems are going to have to accommodate for the company to grow. So if you're a business owner looking to hire a fractional CMO, delegate to them early, let this individual person be autonomous, and you focus on what you need to do to make the company able to adapt to the growth that's going to be generated.
Yeah, and also, Bethany, I think that is important to the culture of the founder, or the culture of the company meet on the values
Mhm.
of the founder and the company meet the values of the fractional CMO. I think that we see the
Yes.
biggest problem that we
Yes.
see that it doesn't work is that the values are different. And if you working with a founder that it doesn't have your same values and your same vision, it won't fit culturally, and
Hmm.
that would be ineffective.
Yeah.
So, and it had to work in both ways, exactly like you said. This is no, you pay me and I do a job. It doesn't work like this because you need the feedback from pro creator. You need exactly. You will have control of part of the company, and you need,
Hmm.
in order for you to improve, something that I find very, very interesting
Yeah.
in tech. Yeah, is that marketing team go to speak with the software developer and say, look, you have to add the product in this way because this is what the market wants. And then the software developer said, no, we're not gonna, this is expensive and we're not gonna do it. So you sell it the way it is. So how do you think that's gonna work? So the
That's a little problem there if
yeah,
the
so
product team doesn't want to amend the product.
it's a cultural problem. So what's your view in culture? How important is culture in order to make this relationship effective? Because clearly I see this in tech companies. So clearly the culture of the product people are or the value of the product people are totally different of the value of people or the team that is bringing the product to market, and they're not able to communicate. And it's already difficult challenges to succeed in mind having those internal challenges. So how do you think that culture fit in all these case that we're talking
Mhm.
about today?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up culture because that is fantastically important. And so I would say, going back to the list I just gave of how do you hire a fractional CMO, and the first step I gave was determine if you like this person. Let me include into that list and make sure that they have this, that they understand your corporate values. and at least align enough to be able to uphold them in a public way. You hope for perfect alignment, but that might not be realistic. But let's just say aligned enough that they can be effective in portraying your company in a positive light and with the same values that you as the owner want to see your company portrayed.
Okay, and Bethany, why you decide to become an entrepreneur? You are very entrepreneurial, yeah, to be so young, yeah. You move a lot, you you travel a lot, you doing one business and then you're doing another one, then you do another one, and or running a family business. So when you decided that you're gonna be an entrepreneur, do you read the book? Do you watch a cartoon when you were kids? You saw your parents? What happened?
I saw my father. My father opened the family company when I was 17. And
When you were
so when I
17?
was 17, he opened the company.
Okay.
And I saw what he went through. I saw what it meant for him. I saw how he struggled, but ultimately it benefited him, it benefited the family, and it provided a tremendous amount of fee and a tremendous amount of prosperity that we otherwise wouldn't have had. And he taught me from when I was young what he was doing, and especially after I graduated from college, he really took a lot of time to teach me what he knew about running a
Wow.
company. Yeah,
That's amazing.
it,
Because I remember that I could be that they know because the conversation in your house is completely different the conversation in the kid house. Another kid house, parent arrives, and I go to work. I'm coming back to work. We have weekends off because now we are off on the weekends, and then we have the job 9 to 5. So, but the conversation in your house is completely different. It's about clients, about tax, it's about employing people, about
mhm,
fighting people. It's about so it's completely different narrative that the rest of your friends have in the school. Maybe you said there is something wrong with my parents. Well, my parents are doing something different. My
yeah,
my are teachers, yeah. So the conversation in my house was always very. My mom is a teacher, my dad is a teacher. So from my mom's side and from my dad's side, they were always telling me, okay, you have to go to university, make sure you get a good degree, and you're gonna be good in life. So I went to university, I get a good degree, I got a degree in chemical engineer, and this
mhm,
didn't do anything for me. Yeah? I never been
yeah,
as an engineer. It made them very happy though. Yeah, that I spent 5 years in that thing, and they're so happy that I got that thing. But that was really it. I find I couldn't fit. I that somehow as entrepreneurs we have it within ourselves. Yeah, and your sister is also running a company. That's very impressive because we saw also children that they're from entrepreneurs parents that they go and find jobs and they take different courses. So it's really, however, it helps. So then
mhm,
what happened? Do you feel intimidated when you want to start your first business and then because of your father, they say, oh my God, if I fail, what my dad is going to look? Do you feel a little bit intimidated? Oh, I have to do better than my dad. So, or do you actually have support and that was there to give you the basics and
yeah,
actually proud that you're doing business? For me, I'm very proud. Anybody in my family is doing business. I'm so happy for them, so proud for them. And when I have time, I call them and say how the business is doing, how the customer acquisition. Do you need any help? They say, no, I can handle it. Okay, you sure? That's fine.
yeah,
Everybody asks me help all over the world, but my own family, they
yeah. It's
they listen, but from far, they want to take the decision themselves and so on. Yeah. But so what happened?
So, okay. First of all, you're absolutely right. When you have a family business, family dinners are part social, how like family discussion, part cash flow and product. And hey, did you remember to talk to this
Right.
supplier about whatever? And
Yeah,
it
I on
is
Sunday that
interesting.
can happen easily.
Yeah. Okay. My got hung up in that. Harry, could you please repeat your question?
Yeah, it was we're talking about family life when parents entrepreneurs with versus family life with parents that know. If you're a kid, you're 17 years old, you have to
Yeah.
do you either have the parents that they go and have, and then that's it. You don't hear too much about they just went for job and now because they don't need to worry about anything. You have the Saturday and Sunday, the weekend, all your parents for you to look after you, and when you have parents entrepreneurs, it's completely different because even in the weekend, they might need to take a phone call, or they might need
Yep.
to take the car for delivery, or they might need to travel or something, and
Oh yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
it's different that you have your friends, so you be thinking, what's wrong with my family? What's wrong? Why my parents are doing something different? So
Uh,
how you view having parent entrepreneurs versus your peers that they have parents that have a job?
you know, I felt grateful in a way. Well, at 17, you're not really grateful for your parents at any rate. I felt grateful later, let's say.
Oh, at that age, you don't care.
No, at that age, the fact that my parents were at home, because the business was out of the house at that age. And so the fact that both
Oh,
my
wow.
parents were home all day was a bit of a bummer when I was 17. I would have loved for them to have been gone all day.
Ah,
So, but wasn't the case. And it impacted the way that I see work. And my friends did see their parents go out to work and work for somebody else, but not all. Actually, I would say about half of my
oh,
friends,
wow.
their also owned their own businesses. And so it was even for my friends whose parents worked in other companies, the community I grew up in, there was a lot of entrepreneurialism. And so it was not far flung. And it was not strange at all that as a teenager, I was working in
Wow.
my family's company and I would work after
Wow.
school and on the weekends. And, I got paid. And at 17, whatever I was making, that was a lot of money. And
Wow.
yeah. And, I had plans. I wanted to go travel Europe each summer. So I worked really hard during the school year and worked for my parents. And
You're
you know,
saving.
saved and earned, and I got to go travel for it. And my life was made the better for it. Definitely made the better for my father's entrepreneurialism.
And you learn a lot, yeah, out of this process. And at some point, you and your sister were running the family business together.
For 5 years. Yeah. It
Oh my
was,
God.
that
Mm.
was a great
So how was it?
experience.
How was it? Was Daddy happy?
Oh, extremely pleased that
I
we were
know.
doing
His
that.
dream, the two daughters running the company is the dream of every entrepreneur. You see, I pass my legacy to my children, you see. We
I
sometimes,
remember,
yeah, go
yeah, I
ahead.
was talking with my sister. She has some, when I took over the company as president before she came in a few months. And I saw that she had some skill sets that I was lacking and that the company really needed. So I with her and I said, this is what's needed. And she said, this is what I can do. And it was what's needed. So she and I talked about it amongst ourselves for quite a while before we went to our parents to see what they think. And I remember we were in a family Zoom call, and yeah, we don't have family meetings, we have calls, and
That's
where we
funny.
discuss. And I remember telling them, or getting their input. And I remember both my parents just being so pleased that we were taking over. And the the years we were running the company together, we had some bad times. It was COVID time. It was, we had some
Oh
bad
my
times.
God. That's
And
difficult for this type of product.
yeah, well, COVID itself was it was actually really nice for the business. What hurt was when we had the supply disruption in the
Uh-huh.
winter of 2021.
Manufacturing and
Some
supply,
of
yeah.
Yeah, a
Mm.
lot of our raw supplies were stuck on a boat off of the coast of the
Oh
west
my
coast of the
God.
United
How they
States for
collect.
a couple of months. And so we ran out
Wow.
of product. And that was by far the roughest time I've ever had as a business owner because I had 2 months where I had no product and it was Christmas time. It was awful.
So what you did? You
And
drive there with the truck and bring it yourself? So what you did?
well, I'd have to swim. It was on a boat, so it was kind of out of luck.
Oh my
So, but
God.
through that, I just remember my dad saying, this is a really rough time, but too, you can do this, you have this, and he was right, and we did, and it was a really
Wow.
hard time, but
What a great story, yeah?
yeah, it comes down to your on it and your willingness to not ever give up. Because we could have given up when we ran out of product at Christmas time, which was our biggest time of the year.
Yeah, very.
And very, very seasonal product. And when you run out of materials on
And you
December
pick
6th,
time.
it's a rough time. It's a rough go. But we clearly with our clientele and our staff, and ultimately we made it through. It took companies some time to recover, as you can well imagine.
like
But
like
yeah,
everyone.
but it did. And I that to our belief in ourselves and our belief in our ability to handle such problems and our belief in our ability to come out the other side and be successful. And we just believed that we could. And since we believed that, we
It was a test, yeah. It was a test because the
yeah,
whole market condition changed dramatically overnight, and
yes,
people panic.
yes.
A lot of people panic. I remember speaking with my team, and my team was telling me what we're gonna do, and I told them, well, we keep doing what we're doing. We and we will make it work. We were doing events all over the world, so imagine now there was no events. So a friend called me and said, "Look, do you have you heard about something called Zoom?" I said, "Zoom? What is this?" I said, "Ah, you do the thing online." I said, "Really? Yeah." And
Hmm.
then and then we did to do the events online. We organized the speaking context, the very first motivation speaking context online in the history of the motivation speaking context was organized by us by COVID, and I didn't even know what Zoom was. So that's how I was doing all the events as you can see behind with people, and like yeah, I didn't even knew that the first time I was in front of the camera, I was like, this is gonna be my life because it suck. I need to see people. And look at me now, the COVID finished so much, and now I'm doing the podcast, and I spend as much probably more time in front of the camera than the of real audiences, despite that I keep speaking a lot. So,
Yeah.
uh, so who gonna thought that? I don't even believe this even myself. So, and we are having a lot of fun, helping a lot of people, and it's amazing. Sometimes the market condition, something for sure, COVID. You for the marketing side, you have to become really, really
And also flexible. If you, because things just change so quickly.
and
But
don't trend. I
no,
saw it in COVID, everybody cutting marketing budget and everything. I'm like, oh God, how the money? So you put in number one, sometimes the have to change somehow, right? Because the market conditions change drastically, and so you need to reach maybe certain type of different people or your and new techniques, new tests needs to be done,
mhm,
and if you do this when less competitive is huge advantage, and everybody was conversation was everybody, I'm cutting marketing costs, I'm cutting this, I'm cutting this, I'm cutting this, and
mhm.
every go panic. And then if you follow that trend, some people couldn't make it back, unfortunately.
I know that is
Yeah, a
unfortunate. Yeah,
lot of people. Yeah, the restaurant business got hit really hard,
yeah,
at least
yeah,
in
for
London where
sure.
I live. We're talking about companies down 300, 400 restaurants. They end up with 20. How bad was in London? Yeah, because in London, I don't know in the rest of the world, but in London, landlords don't care if you don't pay them; they do kick you out, and they
Oh
will
yeah,
stay
oh yeah,
empty, and they will stay empty, and you know what I mean. So,
yeah, yeah. No, I was yeah, I was in Prague for
yeah.
COVID, and so I was running the company from Prague, and it was kind of discombobulating because you're at home and you're locked down, and everybody's going through the same experience globally, but it's how it is received is so local. And you just have to do the best you can and try to make it work. Yeah.
Any last message that you have for our listeners? If people are in love with this conversation, if people want to explore the possibility to have you as a fractional CMO for the company, how the process work, how can they find you?
The best way to find me is on LinkedIn. You can just search for my name, or you can find my website, which is www.redrhinoexec.com.
Thank you so much, Bethany, for attending for coming to the broadcast from Portugal. Yeah, so you have
Yes.
nice weather and nice food. So for all our entrepreneurs listening, remember from this podcast, we want all the entrepreneurs to be wealthy, healthy, and happy. And sometimes being happy, it means to be in a place that when you the morning you can see the sun and the blue sky. Yeah, and
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is something very good that we have as entrepreneurs, that because we design our own life, we decide where we're gonna work, how we're gonna work, what product we sell. We can see the world in a different way, and we can decide what kind of life we want to live. And I'm a big supporter of traveling around. For
Yeah.
me, every time that I move to a new place, I travel to a new place and get out of London, I got better ideas, better opportunities. Everything that is stuck, all of the sudden on stock. I think that, but this is me how I function.
Mhm.
For me, the I need to travel. So because as soon as I change my environment, uh,
Yeah.
or it's not stuck.
Yeah.
So when I'm stuck, I travel, and don't ask me how, but things
Things
start to
fix
is
themselves.
fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know my brain, something wrong with me. So if you're an entrepreneur and stuck or whatever, try to change your environment. Maybe that it could be the weather, could be the food, could be I don't know your environment. But we have to
Routine. Get out of the
routine,
routine.
get
Shake it
out of the
up.
routine exactly. Because when I'm living in sunny places, I wake up early because the
Yeah.
sun is out.
Yeah.
You don't want to be sleeping when the sun is out. But when you're living in London, what's the point to wake up? Totally the opposite. In the morning, it's so nice and so cold that it's very difficult to get out of bed. You're so comfortable inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't always live in Portugal. I spend part of my year in Portland, Oregon as well. And
Hmm.
Portland, Oregon is so rainy and so dark in the winter. It doesn't work for me
Oh,
to be
yeah,
there. I just leave it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, difficult to take care. So,
Yeah.
yeah, London, the same thing. Beautiful though. Yeah, there's a lot of action there, but it's had to take
Yeah.
for people. Some people, they don't have this, so it depends on the person. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Bethany. So again, entrepreneurs, we want you not only to be wealthy, we only to be healthy and happy. So whatever makes you happy, do it. Yeah. And
Yes.
one of the things
Yes.
that makes you happy is don't be in a place that is raining and it's no sun. You always can
Agreed.
move because you're an entrepreneur. As long as you can work online and you have a computer and you design a business that can
Yeah.
be operated from everywhere, you can do it. So thank you so much. And for all of you following the broadcast in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneur like Bethany break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.